That's the key. We go through these fears. We don't go around them. We don't solve them. We don't fix them. We don't create a big enough story to where it all looks nice and pretty. We just simply move through them. And look at all the fears that you've moved through in your life up to this point. Just because we're afraid doesn't mean anything's wrong. Doesn't mean a mistake's being made. Doesn't even necessarily mean we're in danger. It doesn't mean we're in physical danger. In fact, most of the times when we experience fear in the modern age, we're not actually in physical danger. We feel ourselves to be in psychological danger. And those psychological fears, we have to be able to stop right in the face of them. Stop and just be still in the midst of fear. That's the surrender, to just stop and be still.
You must face the fear within. You must face it. And we try to run, we try to distract ourselves, we try to escape. The last thing we want to do is actually sit and go inward and into complete stillness. Because there is a void within. And within that, the fear exists. So it's very difficult for most people to be completely still and face themselves. That is precisely what you must do. That's precisely where you must go, where others are afraid to go. And this is the path, this is the way of spirituality, of the messengers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah grant you, subhanahu wa ta'ala, grant you the courage, the power, the light to face yourself and to face the darkness and emptiness within and to awaken beyond it, to transcend. Through divine success, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
What you can do is not to allow the fear to rise up into your mind and control your thought processes. Because then that would be a normal thing when you are identified. The emotion that's there rises into your mind, and then it causes you to think thoughts that correspond to the emotion, fearful thoughts in this case. And then you would get a vicious circle building up between the emotion of fear, the thoughts you think, which are fearful thoughts, which give more energy to the emotion. So the more fearful thoughts you think, the more it perpetuates the fear that you feel. So to sever the link between the emotion that you feel and your thought processes, what you do is, and this is not pleasant, but it's possible, you place your attention on the emotion, you feel it. It's unpleasant, but it's not going to kill you.
Suppose, let's take it in your case, you say, I just feel fear. It's like it's painted all over my body. It's just there, like most of the time, much of the time, all of the time, I don't know. But let's say it is here now. And this fear feeling is in the body, it's in the lungs, it's in the blood pumping through your body. It feels like that. But you're aware of it, isn't it? Okay? So just follow me. You're aware of this fear. So I'm going to tell you, don't try to do anything about the fear for a moment. Let's let it work for you. Okay? So the fear is there and it's inside. Something inside is reacting to it. Also like, that is also perceived. It's also perceived. Okay, good. Don't try and change the fear. It's natural that you want it to stop. Okay. But just bear with me. The fear is there, or whatever it is that's there. Something is want to fight it, but there's just the awareness now. I want to come only to the place of the awareness only of it. No? Okay? So the fear is crackling in the body. But now I'm pointing you only to the awareness. Just pay attention to the awareness, because a lot of attention has gone to the feeling of fear, okay? We understand the feeling. I'm not going to ask you to do anything like some anti-fear mantra or whatever. Just let the fear feeling be there, but just be with me, just in the place of awareness itself. Okay? So, including the fear feeling, you can also hear my voice in your awareness space. My voice, or any other sound of a bird singing, or someone dropping a bottle or something, all this is heard.
The fear is simply because you're not living with life, you're living in your mind. Your fear is always about what's going to happen next. That means your fear is always about that which does not exist. If your fear is about the non-existent, your fear is 100% imaginary. If you're suffering the non-existential, we call that insanity. So, people may be in just socially accepted levels of insanity, but if you're afraid or if you're suffering anything which does not exist, it amounts to insanity, isn't it? People are always suffering, either what happened yesterday or what may happen tomorrow. So your suffering is always about that which does not exist, simply because you're not rooted in reality. You're always rooted in your mind. Mind is… one part of it is memory, another part of it is imagination. Both of them are in one way imagination, because both of them don't exist right now. You're lost in your imagination, that's the basis of your fear. If you were rooted in reality, there would be no fear.
What if the true freedom actually lies in this allowing thoughts to be here, allowing feelings to be here? So you're not trying to free yourself from thoughts and feelings, but you are the freedom. You are, by nature, it's your nature, freedom. You are the freedom in which thoughts are allowed to come and go, feelings are allowed to come and go, the freedom in which fear is allowed to arise and fall. So the moment you're trying to release or let go of a thought or feeling, basically you're in deep resistance to that thought or feeling. So this is an invitation to let go of the very idea of letting go, to release the very idea of release. But I think that's what waking up is really all about. It's like ending the war with thoughts and feelings, because you come to remember your nature. And I love this metaphor. You are the sky, and thoughts or feelings are part of the ever-changing weather. There's no question of releasing or letting go of thoughts and feelings. The sky is not trying to release or let go of or be free from the rain, the sleet, the fog, the snow. From that perspective, you can say to thoughts or feelings, hey, yeah, of course you can be here, come in. Stay for as long as you need to stay. You're no longer trying to let go of or release thoughts and feelings. You're letting fear come, yes. You're letting fear go, yes. You're letting fear come back if it needs to, if it wants to. You're not trying… You see, it's very, very different from trying to let go of fear, because then you're at war, and it goes against your nature. As the sky of presence, there's no question of trying to release or trying to let go. And then, ironically, that is the letting go, that is the release, that is the relief.
So fear is not the result of thoughts. Fear is the result of believing thoughts to be true. Okay? So if somebody approaches you, if you're sitting down and someone approaches you and says the world is going to end tomorrow, and you believe them, how do you feel? Well, you feel afraid, fearful perhaps. But if you don't believe them, if this person walks up to you and says the world is going to end tomorrow, but they don't seem like a credible source of information on that subject, so you just don't believe what they say, then how do you feel? Well, you feel nothing. If you don't believe what they say, you don't feel anything. So what that shows you is that when you believe somebody's words to be true, they create emotions. When you believe that a bad outcome is happening tomorrow, the words that a bad outcome is happening tomorrow, you feel fear. But when you don't believe those same exact words, you feel nothing. Well, the same is true with the words in your mind. When you believe that a bad outcome is happening, or that a bad outcome is possible, you feel afraid. But if you don't believe those exact same words, those exact same thoughts, if you simply don't believe them, then they don't create fear. They don't create anxiety, they don't create emotions. It doesn't even matter if they're playing in your head. It's like somebody talking nonsense in front of you, or the radio playing in front of you, but you don't believe anything they say, so they can talk all day. It doesn't matter. Right?
The secret to all this is not to be afraid of fear. When you can really allow yourself to be afraid, and you don't resist the experience of fear, you are truly beginning to master fear. But when you refuse to be afraid, you are resisting fear. And that simply sets up a vicious circle of being afraid of fear and being afraid of being afraid of fear, and so on. And that's what we call worry. So it is really, this kind of worrying is a completely useless pursuit. And yet, we feel a little guilty if we don't do it. Because it's somehow put into us that a proper amount of worrying is showing a good sense of responsibility. Fear is something that arises naturally and spontaneously under certain circumstances, just as you will feel warm if you get near a fire.
You can begin by looking, who is so afraid? And this is not a cynical question, like who is afraid? No, not a boastful question. But really go to the heart to see who is the one who is afraid, if it can be identified. And you'll come to some discovery. You'll see that it's mostly from the mind itself. Then it doesn't feel enough, even knowing it is the mind. You have to keep on checking in. Check out so many things we are holding on to which are not true. They're not in service to your truth. In fact, they're the opposite. They pull you down, even. You can observe from the place of awareness. This is what I've come to show you also.
Fear is very natural when we reach a point of unknown. We are trained as human beings to be safe, and that's totally legitimate. But in our desire to be safe, we often don't expand in our inner life. We try to keep our inner life safe. So I'm inviting you into an inner dive. And if fear appears, which it usually does once you really begin a deep dive into the unknown, then you can welcome that fear. It's not wrong that fear appears. And it needn't be obeyed if what you want is a true depth of experience. I don't know how it will change your life. It may change. And it may stay exactly the same, and maybe there's a fear that it would stay the same. But I know that it's possible for you to take a dive so deeply inside that this fear is on the surface. And all of the rationale for not going deeper into yourself, for not being true to this vastness of being, just becomes like dust motes, inconsequential to the discovery, direct discovery.
Universal.
Awakening.
If you enjoyed our video, please consider checking out our Patreon page, which is linked in the description below. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe to our YouTube channel.